Peace to the family. Peace to the family.
What's going on? Oh yeah, y'all have no idea what's about to go down.
Man, we sitting in the backyard. We got actual fig trees behind. You can't see them, but they behind the camera.
I'm about to show them to you. We got fig trees. We got hydrangea. We got Oregon grapefruit up in here for that berberine, for that stomach. All of y'all stomach intestines hurting. The roots of the Oregon grapefruit got berberine in there, and that molecule is like, you got any intestinal issue, you want some berberine in your life.
Yeah, somebody just texted me something about some kidney and some urine. Hydrangea is one of my favorites. That's all-time classic right there. That's
right.
One of the most electromagnetic plants on Earth. It doesn't even have a set description.
That's right. I mean, it's called hydrangea.
Facts. Hydrogen
Straight
rich.
Water. Straight water. You got the comedic. Nope. I about to say leave them there, because remember they used to wear the fly when they were generals.
Facts.
He's just sitting on you right now. Just let
Give
it
him
rock.
his stripes.
That's right. The hydrangea though. When you see all those different colors, you can find out what the pH of the soil is just by the color of the flower.
That's correct.
Because when you got pink, that means it's alkaline. When you got blue, that means it's acidic. And it's actually flipped from what we used to. Usually it's the other way around.
Correct.
Usually when you go to red, that means it's acidic. And when we go to blue, it means it's alkaline. But with hydrangea, they flip it. Yeah. And it deals with the aluminum content inside of the soil.
Correct.
Yeah.
And the aluminum content in the body reflects radio waves and all of your nervous system waves and all of your brain. So this is why aluminum in the brain is linked with dementia and Alzheimer's and
yeah, because it's interfering with all of those real specific signals that are being sent.
Yeah, this is the beginning of something. This is the beginning of something remarkable here, because we're getting ready to take y'all on a small little journey. A small journey. I'm gonna talk about the connection between water and AIDS. And I don't think people know that this is a water and light issue. So I'm gonna deal with the water.
So you saying somebody is dealing with like they dealing with AIDS.
Yeah.
That the issue is something as simple as the most abundant thing that exists on Earth.
Not only the most abundant thing that exists on Earth, but the most abundant molecule in their body.
Wow.
And then I need you to come in after with the light discussion.
Oh yeah. We're gonna get into the light discussion. It's gonna be heavy, but it's gonna be light. Yeah.
Pun intended.
Yeah, no, I got you.
You know what I mean? So the key piece is, and I guess for the science enthusiasts,
right?
The science enthusiasts, the question I like to ask people is, because I used to ask people all the time, how much time do you think medical doctors spend on nutrition in med school, right? And depending on the med school, it's usually less than 3-4 hours. They measure everything in hours. But now the question is, how much time did you guys spend on water in med school? Because water is the most abundant molecule in the body, and it's the basis for all of biochemistry.
I don't think that they spend any time on the water, because when you study the biology of cells, all the pictures,
yeah,
that's all dehydrated. There ain't no water in them shots.
Wait, the pitchers are dehydrated.
Yes.
Wait, the pitchers are empty.
Empty pitchers.
The pitchers are empty.
Pun intended.
So you can't really get a good grasp of living biochemistry, and this is why the emphasis is on living biochemistry as opposed to just biochemistry, because nothing that's dry in the body functions. all of your biochemistry is dependent on water, especially if you look at how the body was formed, with water being the most abundant molecule. The second most abundant molecule had to be present in the water that the cells developed in before the cells developed in the water, in order to stop the cells from being oxidized long enough for the cells to come together and form tissues, glands, and organs. So you couldn't even get the formation of tissues, glands, and organs without glutathione being in the water to stop the oxidative stress. And you see that now when we're actually going through a phase where people are becoming massively dehydrated. And when you look at the nutrition that's required, first of all, glutathione is not only the second most abundant molecule in the body, it's 100%. And I'm almost sure that it's the only antioxidant of its kind that's 100% water soluble. So what does that mean? Just like the water vitamins, it has to be replaced every day. Problem with that is you cannot get adequate glutathione from a supplement. People are buying all kinds of supplement bottles of glutathione and this, that, and the other, and NAC.
That's just telling your body not to make it.
Facts.
That's just telling your body not to make it. I don't need to do that no more.
Right, because we got a exogenous.
We got this fake shit.
We got an exogenous source, so we're good over here. And you gotta have the nutrition. And even though there's a lot of foods that contain sulfur, a lot of foods don't contain cysteine, which is the particular sulfur you need to form glutathione. Now, the relationship with AIDS and glutathione is a little tricky because you got to understand a little bit of virology or the evidence that is used when you look under a microscope to see or to suspect, or the clues that a detective will find and say, wait a minute, there might be an infection going on. You have what's called lysis. And lysis is when a cell basically explodes, right? So one of the things that the late, great Ogun that came to us in the Passage of Dr. Sebi was telling us was that you had cell erosion, that there was no evidence of the virus that causes AIDS. What you had was cell erosion. Now in science, you don't have cell erosion. What you have is lysis and apoptosis. The thing is, glutathione or low glutathione levels causes both low glutathione and or opioid or heroin use, right? And we'll touch on that later. So when you have low glutathione in your red blood cells, you get cross-linking of the hemoglobin. Cross-linking. And that cross-linking, you can look up the technical term, it's called Heinz blood, but it also leads to anemia. So when you think about Dr. Sebi, he's also famous for being able to heal people with the quote-unquote unhealable sickle cell. AIDS and sickle cell both go back to a glutathione deficiency. So when you have the cross-linking of the hemoglobin in the red blood cell, the cell, that causes cellular lysis. Now, if I'm looking at this under a microscope, mind you, a virus is, I could say 1 zillion times, right? A zillion times smaller than the actual cell. So when you see the cell lyse, the first thing you think is, okay, maybe there's a virus there. Now, when you add the fact that you see lysis to the fact that they found reverse transcriptase there, present in the matrix, or the debris, I should say. Yeah, the debris.
They break it all. They force lysis.
Right. They just did. Yeah.
Because they degrade the whole cell by breaking it all up.
Now you have, oh, this must be a retrovirus. we have cell lysis,
and we have reverse transcriptase.
and we got reverse transcriptase. So now it's like open and close. It's like if there's a murder case and the cops find the gun, and then your prints on the gun. They're like, oh, you did it.
Still an assumption.
Yeah, reverse transcriptase is the gun, lysis is the prints on the gun. There's a problem with that story. And the problem is so easy. You don't have to be a science buff. You don't have to be an Inky. You don't have to be a KT. And you definitely don't have to be a Dr. Sebi to see it. All you have to do is pull out your smartphone. So if you're watching this right now, I want you to pause this video. Pause the video and take out your smartphone. If you're watching on your laptop, open up a window on your laptop. Type in, are retroviruses contagious? Just go on your smartphone. I'm gonna help you do it because I'm gonna do it at the same time on mine. Hopefully we got some good signal out here in the woods, right? Signal's challenging. All right, so I'm gonna let y'all pull it up right about now. What you should have saw on your Google was something that read something like this. In general, endogenous human retroviruses are not pathogenic, and many of them are not complete viruses. In general, endogenous human retroviruses are not pathogenic. So now, pathogenic means contagious. So what they're going to have to do now is go back into the books and rewrite the books retroactive to put information in the books to substantiate a claim that wasn't validated when they gave the doctor a Nobel Prize for this claim. So you got to look at the date on the Nobel Prize for discovering the virus, and then you have to look at the dates on the clinical data which supports the substantiation or substantiates the virus that they discovered. You're going to notice a 10-year or 15-year discrepancy. Even the children are into the herbs.
That's right. Getting it in.
So now, when you notice that human retroviruses are something that's passed generation to generation and not contagious, that presents a problem. That creates a question mark. That creates a question mark. Okay, well, let Lily scare you. So now here we go. That's one problem. Now we go back to low glutathione levels because they actually did a test, a clinical test in Botswana, and we actually have the document to show you guys where they prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that nutrition can reverse what we know of as AIDS. The retrovirus that has been identified, quote unquote, as HIV-1, as it replicates itself, it causes a deficiency in glutathione peroxidase, glutathione, selenium, cysteine, glutamine, tryptophan, and then obviously the prerequisite B vitamins that have to be there for methylation. This is where all of your symptoms come from. The symptoms aren't coming from a quote-unquote bug or a virus. The germ theory doesn't hold up to scrutiny. Every day, right now, there are trillions of different little nasty guys that live on me and live in me. And none of them affect my body because my body's immune system, the system of pigment and the system of enzymes, which is important to know. It's the system of pigments and enzymes that protect your body from all kinds of bad guys. not necessarily the white blood cells. The white blood cells are a sanitary system. They clean. They come, they use hydrogen peroxide to clean things. In fact, funny thing about glutathione and white blood cells is white blood cells actually use glutathione to destroy microorganisms. So let's say you had adequate levels of white blood cells to do a job. They don't have any guns. They're unarmed. It's like calling police, but the police don't have weapons and the bad guys do. Glutathione is the weapon of choice for your white blood cells. Glutathione feeds the immature white blood cells to growth. So if you don't have glutathione, you don't even get the growth of white blood cells. And if you do have white blood cells, they'll be sterilized. Like men who sting.
Right. Castrated?
Eunuchs. Castrated. Right? Or standard American dietonated.
Saddened.
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 Pun intended, right?
Exactly.
Saddened. And now we know why we have a massive
depression on our hands.
What?
Because everybody's eating sad.
And the epidemic of suicide is going through the roof.
Standard American diet.
Sad. Everyone's saddened. So then you take another look at it. Just like heroin or opioids, codeine, all of the drugs of choice nowadays is being promoted. Low glutathione levels actually increase FAS receptors outside the white blood cell, and when the FASL protein sits in the FAS receptor, that causes the white blood cell to go through apoptosis, which is also cellular explosion, just like in the case of lysis. So now if you look, you see the red blood cells exploding, white blood cells exploding. It looks like
everything's blowing up.
Everything is blowing up. So without giving y'all too much of a class today, you know, you can go to livingbiochemistry.com, join the class, get the books, eat the specific book, Eat Right for Your Haplotype, where you can get this information and devour it piece by piece at your own speed, or go in join the class and we'll guide you through, right? But just to understand this whole piece about water, because I think it's overlooked. Water and light is the most important aspects to your nutrition. And if you're missing the water and light piece, nothing else is going to work. Everything has to be in place. So it's like you get the herbs, yeah, you want to get the herbs, but then also you got to put the diet piece in place. You got to put the lifestyle piece in place. You got to monitor your light. You got to monitor your water. What type of water are you getting? Glutathione is a water-soluble antioxidant. B vitamins are water-soluble. Now selenium. Selenium is super rare in terms of the diet. Selenium is not required for plants to grow. So because selenium is not a requirement for plants to grow, as far as farmers looking to spend the least amount of money and make the most amount of profit, selenium is not a requirement to put in the soil. So now you have to turn around and say, okay, well, what are we going to do? This is where we come in with the supplementation. This is where we come in with the various compounds that we have that feature burdock, the various compounds we have that feature sarsaparilla, the various compounds that we put together,
the vegetation cell food,
to put this food in the cells.
That's right.
Oh, you can't come by me looking sad because you want to play on the steps, lady. Come on, get out of here. Okay, we're going to go inside in a minute, as soon as me and KT finish. And then you can have snack time.
Done.
Okay?
We're almost done.
Snack time is serious.
You're right, you chilling.
Mean is chilling.
Mean is chilling. Hard is chilling.
Is anybody going to have ice cream or no? Oh, yeah. Did you see that?
You got to say, you got to be like, whoever's sitting in the chair getting...
Wait, I got a thumb out. You want ice cream? So, it's vegan. It's coconut milk.
Yeah, clean that up.
Man,
wait a minute.
The people have been like, is he giving them children the cure for AIDS?
Right.
Oh my goodness, whole milk.
We all
white
know
milk.
ice cream got that interferon in there, right?
Right. It's gonna be no snack for you, lady.
She said, I'm about to. The deeper you get in, the harder I'm gonna go in.
Facts.
Mm-hmm.
So, glutathione is crucial, and just like 90% of the enzymes in your body, glutathione is something that the cell actually has to build from scratch. The cell has to build glutathione. It has to be built. So now when you look at what's happening with HIV depleting the body of cysteine, right? That takes away the front end of your cell's defense, which is the NRF2 system. When you look at the HIV replication depleting the cell of selenium, that takes away the back end of the cell's defense, because the back end of your cell's defense is the production of the, what is that, P53 enzymes, the RBG, the P450 family. Like, it's a host of families that protect your body from cancers, tumors, fiber, like all of the nasty bad guys. Enzymes form a little army and roll out on them. If you don't have selenium, that army cannot be produced. Now, if you look at tryptophan, tryptophan is so crucial and overlooked, because tryptophan causes the depression that we see, because tryptophan is metabolized in the serotonin. Then, in these same people, you notice that they can't sleep at night. Well, that's because serotonin in the pineal gland is metabolized to melatonin. So there's no melatonin without serotonin, no serotonin without tryptophan. Tryptophan also is the basis for the first cytochrome in your electron transport chain. So no tryptophan, you don't have adequate energy production. You don't have adequate electron circulation to produce the magnetism in cytochrome 5, which recycles ATP, the source of the light in the cell.
Turbine.
It's like not paying your electric bill.
Oh yeah, you getting shut off.
You get shut off.
Or what do they say? Disconnected.
You disconnected. It's a wrap for you. So glutathione is crucial. And then somebody sent me a message in my inbox. They said, man, Sebi didn't know what he was talking about. He said AIDS is mucus in the lungs. I said, see, they don't stay in the studio long enough. You got to study longer. Low glutathione levels again. Glutathione controls the consistency and the fluidity of the mucus in the lungs. So if you have no or little glutathione in your body, guess what else happens? The mucus that the lungs produce to keep the lungs clean, even the pleurisy fluid is affected. It gets hard and stagnates and coagulates. Now you have the potential for pneumonia symptoms to develop, because the actual mucus will be a reason for mucus production. So now you get unending mucus production without a visible sign of a infection or bacteria, because you can't find what's the bad guy in there. The bad guy is actually the low levels of glutathione that's causing the mucus to brick up inside the lungs and stopping the body from being able to breathe. Now you're developing hypoxia in the tissues. So you're getting systemic inflammation, which is now going to cause the entire mucous membrane to start producing mucus.
That's right.
Glycocalyx gets shed. Candida that lives in the mucous membrane, now from a yeast, mutates into a fungus. None of this is visible with the naked eye. So if you are on a natural paradigm and trying to keep yourself healthy to prevent yourself from having to go into the hospital, to the doctor, the simplest easiest way to see what's going on is to say mucus is the problem. So if you don't understand the biochemistry though at that level, then you would say something like, well, I just looked up in the book and I just Googled it and it said that mucus is good for the body because it does this, that, and the other. Yeah, but mucus that's regulated within the flow of biochemistry. Mucus in a body with low nutrients is going to, like I said, in the lungs, stagnate, harden, and the lungs is some of the softest tissue you got. That's going to limit the movement, limit the oxygenation of the blood, lowering pH. And the lungs actually have to store blood to keep the pH level, the acid and alkaline level, balanced. The lungs also are responsible for immunoglobulin G, which interacts with the HLA system. So now it's a fine line between autoimmune disease. Well, wait a minute. Autoimmune disease brings us right back to those the white blood cells again.
All over again.
So it's just a matter of understanding this stuff and being able to say, well, listen, all organisms on this planet have a natural habitat.
That's right.
Inside that natural habitat contains the food for that organism to be its healthiest.
That's right.
Once you get outside that natural habitat and you stop eating those foods, your body is no longer going to function properly. You can bet on. Now, how it breaks down? It's a new disease all the time.
Come on, man. We can make one up right now. What you talking about?
But the breakdown is assured. Assured. Just as much as fresh air gives you life. You can be sure that eating a diet not consistent with the genes is going to break that body down. And this is why they tell you, if you get a reptile, because I got to get you to add this piece on this light. And this is just an introductory piece. We just introducing, allow me to reintroduce ourselves. But you get a reptile, they even tell you what a reptile, listen, that reptile comes from an equatorial region. You got to get you some UVB lights, or that reptile will develop tumors and cancer. So what about us? Where's our UVB lights?
What about us? Where's our UVB light?
We getting some out here now.
Oh, you talking about the sun? You talking about that thing people don't use no more? Everybody living under an alien blue light. You know what I'm saying? We switched out a natural sun for an alien sun. Now, when we talk about viruses, I could tell y'all to look something up. Okay?
Let's get this work.
Yeah, go to Google. Go on Google this and just type in flu. You type in flu, you're going to find that flu is shorthand for influenza. So then you're going to be able to say, oh, okay, so influenza virus, that's what connects to having the flu. But see, you can't stop there. When you Google influenza, they're going to give you another name. And that actual name for influenza, because influenza is shorthand too. Just like flu is shorthand for influenza, influenza is shorthand for another term that's used. And that term is called orthomyxoviridae.
That is correct.
Orthomyxoviridae? I know nobody know what that means.
That is correct.
But ortho means straight.
Wait, mix with a Y. M-Y-X.
M-Y-X.
When you trying to spell that?
Ortho means straight.
Correct.
Myxo means mucus.
What?
So flu translates into
straight mucus
virus? Wait, hold on, brother. I didn't create Google. Did Sebi create Google?
Wait a minute. Hold on. So wait a minute. So now when you hear flu-like symptoms,
it's really
mucus-like
symptoms. For all those who think he know what he was talking about. But then when you dig into mucus, you find out that the root of mucus is something called mucins. And there's a collection of mucins, the same way there's a collection of interleukins.
They should be Googling.
You should be Googling this. M-U-C-I-N-S, mucins. There's a whole line of them. And they're actually tags for people in the medical field to recognize if somebody has a particular cancer, a disorder, disease, depending on the particular mucins that are presented. Well, mucins are the actual, like, amino acids are for proteins. Mucins are the basis for mucus. So once again, mucus is the problem. I could give you the third one, because that too might not be enough. We might have to give them a third one. The third one is the glycocalyx.
Wait a minute.
Glycocalyx.
Before you go there, yeah, there are some awesome articles. You might want to add in HIV and AIDS after mucins. Type in mucins, HIV, AIDS, and see. There's articles that link.
It's gonna blow your mind.
Mucins and AIDS.
And AIDS.
Woo! Woo!
Because you know, Sebi had Google.
Woo!
Back in the 80s.
Right,
when the internet
before there was no
existent.
internet.
Obviously. Or a crystal ball or something. You know? So, lastly, we got the glycocalyx. And with the glycocalyx, this is a layer on your cells. See, all your cells got an afro. Yeah, just like this. Your cells got an afro. And every strand of hair of that afro glycoaminoglycans, proteoglycans, mucosaccharides. These are all polymers. Just to give you an idea what a polymer is. Polymer is a collection of monomers. That's usually how people teach stuff.
Yeah, let's not do that. Let's take them back to Egypt.
Polymers is a collection of monomers.
Let's go to Egypt.
Now y'all understand.
Make it simple.
No. Monomers would be one unit. Let's say that a monomer unit would be a triangle, a square, and a circle. That's a monomer, just one unit. So a polymer would be a series of triangles, squares, and circles linked together. So when you're dealing with the glycocalyx, you got all these polymers of proteins and sugars that extend out from the membrane of your cell to be a signaling mechanism as things are coming inside the body. Now, you might think, as I'm speaking about signals and stuff, that the glycocalyx would just be in the digestive system. But no, it's in the respiratory system.
It's everywhere.
And it's also in the cardiovascular system.
Everywhere.
Now, on top of the afro is a layer of mucus.
What?
Yes, a layer of mucus sitting right on top. This is your mucus lining. Because when you eat food, the food never touches your body. Matter of fact, food never enters your body. What? But KT, how do you eat? I eat, it goes in my mouth, man. I don't see it for hours, and then it pops up in the toilet. It goes inside me. No, we're donuts.
Straws.
Yeah, we're straws.
Crazy straws.
Just a tube.
Crazy straws.
So inside is still outside.
Fact.
Light from outside still goes through your whole body.
That's a fact.
Okay, so when I'm digesting food, the mucus plays lubrication. And if you don't understand how lubricating the mucus lining is, I want you to imagine a bowel movement without any mucus line.
Many people can imagine that.
That would literally be shitting bricks.
No, they would bleed.
They
would bleed. It would really, literally rip the lining.
Yeah.
Rip the lining.
Which is how
right
people
out.
got AIDS in the first place. Right, because, yeah. Zystin and gerbilin and all that stuff, mama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
actually, you know what? To be honest, just so people don't get the wrong idea, you don't even need to do fisting and gerbiling for that. So you don't have to actually be ramming your arm into someone's anal cavity or putting a gerbil up
Inside.
someone's...
Through someone's anus in their rectum so the gerbil could freak out, and in their flailing and freaking out, it is manipulating ganglions, nerve ganglions that send sensations that will secrete oxytocin and all that all those chemicals in your, so you can get pleasure.
Don't give the junkies a reason to try it.
Okay.
So just
we can't skip the fact that the body, because it has a natural protection mechanism,
they're getting hot.
The minute that thing starts flaring around, it shuts down. Boom! Now you got a gerbil stuck up your ass.
And many are going to get surgeries to have them surgically removed. But without, without getting that deep, because now anal sex is a part of the culture.
Oh, most definitely.
Just a penis alone is enough to erode the very thin tissue in your colon and have all. So, ladies, if you've ever had, it's Atlanta, my bad. Family, if you've ever had anal sex, that is not a shot at Atlanta. I love Atlanta. Lived here for many years, okay? I just know that you have to be more open-minded in various communities. Atlanta being one of them. So, if you've had anal sex and there was a little blood coming from your anus afterwards, that means that the parasites, the feces, the worms,
viruses, bacteria, all that
is now swimming in your bloodstream. Swimming in your bloodstream.
And your bloodstream also has a glycocalyx.
What?
It also has a glycocalyx.
What?
And the integrity of your health has everything to do with the glycocalyx, because the glycocalyx is the satellite dish network, cable satellite that extends out so that the cell knows what's going on around. If the mucous membrane is compromised, if the mucous membrane becomes compromised, then what ends up happening next is the glycocalyx breaks down. The glycocalyx breaks down. Now, once your glycocalyx breaks down and those pieces start entering inside the cell and floating through the bloodstream now, this is a whole nother piece of matter flowing in the bloodstream that doesn't need to be there. See, what's so fantastic about the layer of the glycocalyx in the bloodstream is it offers a negative charge. Why do you need a negative charge on the walls of your blood vessels? Because your blood cells are negatively charged.
Negatively charged.
So when you put negative and negative, that's like putting south end to south end on a magnet. What happens? It repels.
Facts.
So that's going to keep the blood cells from sticking to the walls. Then it's also going to keep the blood cells from sticking together.
Wait a minute. Is that why when you sweat, you get rid of protons, aka positive charge?
That's right.
When you urinate, you get rid of protons, aka positive charge. When you exhale,
same thing.
You get rid of protons, aka positive charge.
Because we need electrons in order for our mitochondria to function properly.
Wait a minute. So is that why the late great Dr. Sebi suggested that we have a diet rich in electron donors?
Oh, yes. Which would be translated to alkaline, by the way, because alkaline represents giving electrons, donors, while acid is, let me get that, brother. Give me that.
The taker.
The taker. You know what I mean? So are you a giver or are you a taker? Are you a receiver or are you a giver? This lets you know whether or not.
Wait a minute. Unnecessary roughness.
Unnecessary
roughness.
Dr. Sebi said, mama. And it's so deep that he said that before everybody understood that it was proven that all mitochondria are passed down matrilinearly. What am I talking about? When you say matrilinearly, matriarch is a woman, okay? Linearly means, a line. So the line of the woman. So mitochondria is only passed down by the mother. Then on top of that, the medical industry had the bright idea of naming the outside border to get into the mitochondrial outer membrane. The mitochondrial outer membrane. Wait. So that's M, mitochondrial, outer, that's O, M, that's membrane. M-O-M?
M-O-M.
What is that?
Mom.
Holy shit. Wait. So he said mama, and the medical industry calls it mom, and moms is only passed down matrilinearly, and we eat electrons just for the mitochondria, so our body can recycle light. Oh.
That is a fact.
Wait
a minute. To take it a step further, that light then causes the water to structure into gel, which pushes out any solutes
and protons,
which causes intracellular chelation.
Oh, now I'm cleansing inside of myself.
So Sebi was actually light years ahead of anything that was in textbooks.
Look, the main thing he said was, what he said we had to get back to was butt naked mama in the jungle.
Butt naked.
Why butt naked mama in the jungle? Because a butt naked mama means she don't got no clothes on, so her solar panel, her photovoltaic self,
woo,
her photovoltaic self,
woo,
right, is exposed to the sunlight so that the sun can come down, produce her vitamin D, structure water.
Wait a minute. So right now, the clothes that we wear completely cover our VDRs, all of our vitamin D receptors.
Let me give you an example. You sitting down at a smorgasbord. You got a whole, everything you ever wanted to eat.
Everything.
And then I come over and I take some saran wrap and wrap it over your mouth. You still breathe through your nose though. Go on and enjoy the food. Sure. You don't look like a fool.
Nothing.
Like we do.
Nothing.
Wearing clothing. When you're a solar person.
Facts.
So, he told people, get in the sun. Because when the sun is at its proper inclination, depending on where you live at, you know, in the summertime it's usually between like 9:30 all the way to like 5:30, you got a vitamin D window with a solar noon where it's at its strongest, and at that time is when you expose yourself. You see? So that you can produce vitamin D. What do you need vitamin D for? Well, all those vitamin D receptors is necessary. When women have fibroids, they find that when they look at the cells are expressing extreme amounts of estrogen receptors, a little bit of progesterone receptors, but absolutely no VDR, which is vitamin D receptors.
And you know where they test that?
Where they test that?
They test that in the actual water in the body, the plasma, because your vitamin D is registered in nanograms per milliliter of your body's plasma. So not only is the glutathione in the water, the vitamin D is in the water.
Vitamin D usually has to be transported by LDLs, low density lipoproteins.
Right.
These are stored in fat. Little bubbles, little storage of fat. But that's only because we're not sulfating our vitamin D in the sun.
Wait a minute, sulfating?
Sulfating.
Sulfating?
Yes, because sulfur's in the air. And our skin layer has enos.
What?
Epithelial nitric oxide synthase.
What?
Nitric oxide synthase is creating nitric oxide, which allows your vessels to expand so your blood can pool, get closer to the skin, so when the sun comes down, it could catch all that sun.
Hold on. Because if people aren't getting the right type of arginine in their diet,
that's right, then they can't convert that over to the nitric oxide.
So even if they get the sulfated air, but their body's loaded up on powdered arginine,
they can't convert it.
That arginine will then sit around and convert viruses that the body has denatured
and activate them again.
So they can have reoccurring breakouts?
Yeah, herpes just pops out of nowhere because the deactivated chicken pox is all grown up now.
Wait a minute. So this is how people that lose their immune system get it back online and then it crashes again?
Crashes again. That enos layer doesn't only make the nitric oxide, but that same enzyme is able to turn the sulfur that's in the atmosphere into sulfate. So then when the sun comes down and you look at the base layer of your skin where the fat at, you have the 7-dehydrocholesterol there. That 7-dehydrocholesterol along with the sulfated sulfur that's coming out the atmosphere through your enos layer ends up producing sulfated vitamin D, which because it has a sulfate on it, which is sulfur with 4 oxygens, this particular type of vitamin D is soluble. So now you don't need LDLs.
Wait a minute. So that's how it gets into the cell and gets utilized without activating the NRF2 system?
Sulfur. Because you know sulfur is super powerful in NFR2. That's the signal that tells everything whether things is going right or wrong. Keep on oxygenating sulfur to sulfenic, sulfonic, and sulfinic acid and watch what happens to you and yours. So the best way that I could explain sulfur, because usually sulfur gets compared to the devil, right? Sulfur,
correct.
You know, sulfur. Because sulfur is a wildfire. But when you create sulfate, that's like having a brick oven. So now you have a wildfire in a controlled environment. So now you can actually produce things
now you
with
cooking.
that fire.
Now you cooking. Now you cooking.
I think that's it right there, y'all.
Now you
Now
cooking.
we cooking.
Now you cooking.
Now we cooking. That's it. Y'all don't need no more today.
They don't need no more?
Go back now. That's enough.
They got a lot to study.
We'll be back. Oh yes, you can find me on my YouTube channel, KT The Arch Degree. My Instagram's KT The Arch Degree, and my website is ktthearchdegree.net. And then we about to go on these retreats. If you go to greenlifetr.com, you'll find that me and my wife take groups of people
to the jungle,
to the rainforest, on an island in the Caribbean, and teach you about herbs and cooking and everything, and you don't even want to leave.
Hand to mouth, hand to hand. You get to see what the herbs do, identify the herbs so you understand it the real way.
I give it to you. I give it to you.
I'm Dr. Inky. That's ENQI. You can go at Dr. Inky on IG. You can go to livingbiochemistry.com. Get the book Eat Right for Your Haplotype, so you learn this, much more, the protocols, the biochemistry. Get some herbs, clean your body out, inkysdetox.com, and expect a lot more of the dynamic duo to come.
Become a Patreon. KT The Arch Degree /Patreon.com.
That's right. Get the content.
If you want to get the real work.
Get the extra content.
Real work.
Get the extra content. Everything is not free.
Extra content.
Read all about it. Peace.
Peace.